Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the APAC monthly finals. So I'm watching this for the very first time because I'm a little bit late. I've been very busy today. I've not checked Twitter once, a single time, and I've not also watched any of the previous games as well. So one thing I'm surprised about straight away, well, I had a quick little look through, and it seemed that Reject kind of ran through Zeta, which I'm very surprised about because Zeta were my favorites in terms of the best team in this region. If you guys are unaware, there's been a bunch of roster changes. We've seen Saitampo and Tensai split up, which was just crazy. Then Milcreo has taken over Saitampo's spot on Crazy Raccoon, which if you guys know, Milcreo is a veteran. He was around when I was around back in the dinosaur days, 2019. So there's Milcreo on the screen. He's also got really good vibes as well, so I really like him as a person and a player as well. And then, as I said, I think Zeta off the top of my head, with Levi, again, really good player. And then you've also got this Reject team, and then you've got Navi with the Chape's team. There's actually 4 pretty solid teams in APAC, which is quite... Normally there's stand out 2. We probably might see that later in the year. Maybe it's Crazy Raccoon and Rejects. Surely a team with Saitampo and have got to come back strong. But anyways, we're here to talk about this team in hand right here. Crazy Raccoon versus Rejects. So we can see the draft straight away. Heist, Kaboom Canyon. We see a berry ban. Double berry ban on Kaboom Canyon, which is kind of wild. He's good on Kaboom Canyon, but to double ban him, very interesting. Also, it's interesting that they kept open the Chuck. I mean, there is counterplay to Chuck, but a lot of times it just is really messy gameplay. So normally the better team just ends up banning Chuck because they don't want any of that nonsense. So of course, the best brawlers, of course, in APAC's mind on this map is going to be Melody, Colette and Berry. So we can't actually learn too much about them. I mean, we can a little bit if you guys are grinding ranks, but the thing is, we're going to get an update pretty soon. So I'm actually not as interested in the meta picks as I normally am. Also, there's going to be some changes to gadgets, of course, which you know about. So that's going to completely shift up the meta. It's going to turn it on its head pretty much. So yeah, there is that. Anyways, they go with a Bell last pick. So Bell is just pretty good at kind of cleaning up. I don't really know. I really do favor Crazy Raccoon's composition. I don't know why they really went Bell, because when you think about it, you've got Chuck that's just going to get completely hard countered by that Cordelius. Cordelius is just going to trap him the entire time. You've then got Angelo, who's kind of clean up. And then maybe you should have gone with double aggro. I don't actually know what they should have really gone into that, because especially APAC, you know, when I talk about different metas in different regions, a lot of you guys are like, what, how's that the case? Well, like I say, in APAC, a lot of time they go for mechanical brawlers, so that's why they've probably gone for a Bell, because Bell's just pretty good into everything. So here we go, first monthly final game of the year. I'm really excited for esports this year. There's been a lot of really good changes, in my opinion, to hopefully make the year more competitive. So straight away, you can see Tensai, they're just going to go for the offense. So one thing as well that's really underrated, it's Amber on the safe. As you can see, he's just going around anti-clockwise, getting as much damage, and there's only 20% left. This is how you deal with Chuck, by the way. This is literally what you do against Chuck. Just ignore him. You either bring out a full counter or just ignore Chuck, because he can't defend whatsoever. So again, this is why I like banning out Chuck a lot of time, or I don't really go him as much as I normally go him. I mean, the problem is with Chuck as well is if you don't get that first push in, the longer the game goes on, then of course Chuck has a better chance of winning. So Tensai is going to get on the safe here, and that's going to be an easy round win. And I just don't see how, again, Reject's composition does anything. Again, I was very I don't know what to really think about Bell, but my guess is that they're trying to get 2 brawlers that could defend, and then Chuck just go in time again. But I still just don't think that's the strategy. I think you just got to go all in. If you're using Chuck, you just got to go for it, in my opinion. Or you've got to make sure Amber doesn't get on the safe, because that is the biggest problem. Amber let Amber get on the safe. You just can't let that happen. But with Milcreo and Moya just pushing up, it is happening right here. Milcreo's going to go for the Bell, which is really well played there. What a lot of people would have just done in that situation is go for the high safe, but that was literally a perfect play. Might seem small, but he's got his super as well. You know, Milcreo is playing really good. I know Milcreo is a really good player, but it's tough boots to fill. You know, Saitampo, probably the best player mechanically in Brawl Esports history. It is tough. It is very tough, but of course we know Tensai as well. Really, really good. Moya as well, just good at pretty much those filler brawlers. You know, Side Temple is normally the carry brawler, so carry person. So my also initial thoughts, so I'm kind of thinking of this roster. I'm thinking who's going to be the player that plays all of these like melodies and really aggressive brawlers. I'm guessing Tensai is going to be the person that does that now, right? I mean, look, 20% left anyways, 10% left. Tensai is just going to super the chuck and then get onto the Heist. Cordelius just absolutely wrecks him. That is just one of the quickest games I've ever seen of Heist, and we didn't even have like that good of a base race composition. But anyways, that's gonna be the first set. Let's jump into the next one. All right, guys, now jumping into set number 2, we have Brawl Ball Triple Dribble. So this one's gonna be an interesting one for me, just to see the meta. So you can see by the bands, by APAC's kind of meta, Loot, Stu, and Melody are gonna be the best. Very interested in the Melody ban. I mean, Melody, again, more of a, weirdly enough, mechanical brawler in this region. Again, like, she's good, but I don't think she's that good in other regions. But yeah, again, maybe one that other regions are underrating. And then also the Shade ban last pick, very, very good. Max ban as a last, I mean, maybe they're not banning it in anticipation for last pick, just more of a like 2-3 pick, so pretty interesting again. And then of course Barley's just really annoying to face off against, so they're not really taking into consideration Larry and Laurie here. I mean, I guess they're kind of, well, they're going with Otis and Juju. I mean, they can't go Larry and Laurie now, but you know what I mean. Juju left open as well, which I don't really understand from Reject. So that's twice in a row they're leaving Juju open. In my experience, and after watching scrims, tournaments, etc., pretty much Juju's the meta brawler, the brawler just to pick no matter what. It doesn't matter on every single map, pretty much. Even on, I see in the comments sometimes people are like, oh, I can't pick Juju on Safe Zone, for example. Well, you still can. Juju is still absolutely insane there. I mean, she's not like as broken as she is in other situations, but still in Triple Dribble, she's a really good pick. Because it's just literally a few tiles of grass in the middle where she can just outrange any thrower and just dominate. And then of course you got a super to defend. I mean, do you guys even need to know any more about Juju? They respond with a Maisie, so I know. Okay, Ollie, oh, I completely forgot that Ollie was in play. Ollie's in play? I completely forgot about that already. Huh? I'm kind of confused. I'm very confused. I forgot about that. I thought it was a meeple that wasn't in play. I mean, again, I'm just gonna have to, you guys probably know in the comments better than me. I'm just completely, anyways. So the thing is with Ollie here, he is against 3 tough matchups, so I don't really know the thought process personally behind maybe they did just messed up the draft, didn't they, in my opinion, because like, I guess they kind of gotta go an aggressive brawler, because they have late pick, and they could just go with like 3 brawlers that, I mean, they could go with like double thrower to counter all of them. It's just, they're kind of drafted in the wrong order in my opinion. I don't know, like Ollie, and then he's up against basically 3 counters. He's up against Juju, he's up against Surge, and he's up against Otis. Personally as well, I don't think Otis is the best brawler on Triple Dribble. I mean, he's okay. The good thing about him in draft, like, you've got this open right lane where he can just be decent, but again, I think Otis is normally better on those grassier maps because the vision gets really good on him. Anyways, in terms of composition, I just absolutely have to go with CRs. I just really good, like Berry again. I guess they've gone with I completely forgot about the Berry, mind me. So they've gone with a tank because of course they've got the Berry, and they think that even with the heals they can overrule CR. But Mercury is just playing such a great Juju there, and you can see the star power coming into effect, taking down Berry, which is absolutely hilarious. Now we can work on the pinch with Melty, and again, I just don't know why you would leave Juju open. I wanted to learn something in draft, and all I'm learning is that APAC still is just not the best at drafting. It's the thing that lets them down so much. Of course, mechanically gifted, but how can you leave Juju open? I guess she can be countered in some ways, but in my opinion, in a meta that is very balanced, other than maybe, you know, there's a few, you know, tweaks. Everything's not balanced. It's one of the most balanced metas we can get outside of Juju and then Lu in some instances. So why not just ban Juju? And then you've got 2 other bans where you can target ban, you know, for example, like, I just don't know why is Juju. They didn't even pick Juju, actually. They had first pick and they didn't pick Juju. I don't know. I'm just waffling at this point. Anyhow, let's go with let's focus on the gameplay at hand. Okay, Ollie's going to go in here. He's going to manage to get a really good mute onto the throw there. Also gets a great gadget, and then another super here. Interesting. I mean, Ollie isn't as bad as maybe people make out. That was a good play. He got the kill on the thrower, but he wasn't really able to do anything else. But now Tensai's got his hypercharge. it's just going to be a lot harder for Reject to really do anything. Here comes the hypercharge. Pretty much Ollie is dead here. Okray is just going to jump up. He actually missed pretty much all of those. The heal somehow missed out on Maisie there, but yeah, they're just getting absolutely clapped. The pet is just too good at slowing down, keeping them out of harm's way. Great pass up from Milkrayo, and I'm really liking this Crazy Raccoon synergy so far. I mean, it's definitely a bit different. It seems a bit more calculated than previous renditions of their team, but I'm liking it. It's seeming pretty simple right now. This is quite a big gap in skill. I don't know. The thing that I'm a bit apprehensive about as well is last year there was a bunch of issues with servers and whatnot. I think that's been fixed right now, because as you can tell, I know that's Tensai's normal setup because he streams there. So I'm guessing the servers have kind of fixed themselves. I know they've of course split the region into sub-regions as well, with I think India and another one. So I'm guessing the server things have been fixed, but I'm just very surprised kind of the golfing class here, because Reject beat Zeta, and Zeta were my #1 team. I mean, maybe I got it completely wrong. Maybe Reject can turn this around. Anyways, right, so for Reject to really do anything here, again, I'm just a bit puzzled on what they can really do. I guess it's just a synergy here with Ollie and Berry, which they can maybe do something. But the thing is, once Tensai gets his levels, it's pretty much over. So this is a good play from Reject now, but the ball is in the corner. Weirdly enough, I didn't even see how that got into the corner. But I guess they are kind of happy for this game to go to like overtime, if anything. But they've got the backs against the wall here. Surely Rejects are going to score. Shu's going to use the gadget to jump over Surge and just barely survives. Great super there from Bato. Melty's going to push in here. This has to be a goal from Rejects. Has to be a goal. Great dash in from Melty. And there we go. So we also saw, of course, Melty and Shu on Rival. Yeah, it was Rival. Of course. Oh, yeah. I haven't even spoke about that. It's kind of like the rivalry. Milkrayo was literally on their team last year. They didn't really do that well at World Finals, but I saw potential. Saw flashes of potential. They still beat an EMEA team, which I was still surprised about. They had a good showing against, I think, Totem. I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, now they've got to protect this lead with 1 minute left. They can probably do so here with Maisie, with Ollie with a super in this little pocket. I think they should win this round, to be honest. A super up, which isn't going to get much value. Again, it's the problem with Ollie that I find time and time again, is that you go in and then you're just kind of like a sitting duck. You're like, oh, well, we're just going to wait for him to just use his hypnotize and then do nothing. Okay, that was a bit of a misplay from Shu there, but still manages to defend that. I mean, I can't believe Crazy Raccoon didn't score that. How did they not score that? But now 25 seconds left. Still got gadgets left from Melty. I mean, Ollie's got super again. I just don't see, unless there's going to be a big blunder, how they're going to score here. So super, actually they're going to score. They're going to score. How have they managed to score? A bit of a missed pass there, bit messy, but they scored. And now they're just going to win in overtime, aren't they? They've got a Surge hypercharge. Maybe popped it, yeah, definitely popped it a bit early there. Didn't really get the value that I was really anticipating, but now with all the walls gone, I'll definitely favor CR's composition here, because Ollie and Berry need the walls, whilst only Juju needs it. Great pass forward, and that's going to be the goal from Moya. Wow, that game just turned on its head there. I mean, I don't know how they actually scored that in Brawl Ball. I really don't. They had so many great defensive measures there. They had a Maisie super. They had an Ollie super. They had so much working in their favor. I think they just backed themselves into a corner too much and just let Crazy Raccoon pressure them. So obviously Crazy Raccoon are just so good under pressure. That's going to be set number 2. Let's jump into set number 3. Right, guys, jumping into set number 3, we have Hot Zone Ring of Fire. So this potentially could be a clean sweep here from Crazy Raccoon. I've not really seen too much fight back from Reject to even suggest they could win a set in this moment of time. But all it takes is a slight outdraft, and it just takes a good pick. So Draco first pick straight away. I like Draco as a first pick. Very overrated in my opinion. There's a lot of counters. Straight away, I would be going like Griff here. I would be going... I'm trying to think of... I mean, you could go multitude of counters here. I'd probably go with like a Penny and a Griff or something like that. I know that hasn't got the best synergy, but you kind of need a mixture of both. And you still have last pick, to be honest. So don't go like too overboard with the counters. Okay, they go with Berry, so I'm guessing they're trying to pinch the Berry away. And they go with Frank. Okay, Frank is a very good counter to Draco, by the way. One of the best. I would say. Like, it's near enough unwinnable. So they're just going to go all out warfare. So I would straight away go Colette if I was reject again, or I'd go Griff to try and deal with that. Me personally, I'll just go Colette. It's an open map. Colette's good in Ring of Fire anyways, even not into tanks. So yeah, I'll just straight away go with Colette. Just lock in Colette right now. And then you probably need something with that Draco. So maybe go with like a Poco yourself. Okay, they go with Griff. They go with the Griff. I guess Griff is the Byron. I mean, Byron is low-key a decent one. 8-bit in retaliation to that. You know, 8-bit's an underrated one. I don't know about the synergy there altogether. I kind of like Reject's composition in comparison, you know. 8-bit, I don't really... I mean, I guess 8-bit can still get some good time with the amount of H... Oh, and it synergizes well with Berry, actually. This is surprising drafts from APAC. They kind of... Here's me saying that they're not been the best at drafting recently, but here's some wacky drafts, and they also like a lot of Hank, to be honest. So fair play to APAC. I don't know where to really go. I guess Byron's actually pretty good into this because you got the Malay stop out. You got to remember. So if Byron can cycle through supers, that's pretty good. So maybe I prefer rejects. I'm probably gonna live to regret that. To be honest, but yeah, Byron can be nasty into this if he again spamming for his heals here. It's gonna be really annoying. Like Frankie's gonna get Nova. Look, straight away, just dead so easily. Love to see it. Love the Byron pick into that. First off, I was like, yeah, that's not gonna be the greatest because Byron just doesn't have the DPS to deal with it. But then yeah, melees into heal compositions does work. So he's actually probably going to be more of a damage dealer in this instance, right? And he still can provide the healing to his teammates if needed. So he needs to cycle through his super ASAP here because yeah, I was crazy. We're going to just do this. Moya's already got his hypercharger. Look at him. Look at the amount of tanking he could do. Byron needs to get his super ASAP and splash someone. Surely he's going to get it soon. There we go. And misses. That is not the best, but Melty's going to get some good pressure. Griff's going to be loving this. The more people that group up as well, he's going to get a lot of value out of his super. Tensai getting his hypercharge off. Again, good kill from Shu. He's doing some decent work, but no one's really getting in the zone here whatsoever. I mean, I guess Griff's got to slowly trying to work his way in here, especially with his business resilience, but it's pretty hard with 8-bit lasering him down. Good super here from Melty. Moya wasted his Frank super, so that allowed Melty that kind of opportunity to rush forward. Does actually buy his time there. Tensai, I'm not too sure about that 8-bit turret, just because, yeah, it's just going to get taken down really quickly. Good splash there from the Byron. I mean, Griff's trying to get close so he can get an up-close super, because everyone knows Griff's supers up-close just are devastating. It's looking like a reject win. I'm glad I saw the potential with this. I could have really lived to regret. Another missed super. I think he's not auto-aiming them. You've got to auto-aim their Shu, okay? I know you're a good player and you don't like to auto-aim, but you've got to auto-aim their Byron supers. Anyways, it didn't even matter in the end because they won that game. So, again, I can see this going this way again. I just... 8-bit, I see where they were going, right? With Berry, of course, you want to, well, with most healers, you want to group up with, like, tankier brawlers, and you're going to get more value out of a tank with Berry because you can, like, cycle more supers, etc. But still, like, into a Griff, there's too much crowd control there. I would have just... I mean, you could have gone with any other tank counter, really. That could just really fixate on countering the Draco. And again, you got the Frank to counter that, right? So, I don't know, maybe in his mind you thought, well, you got Frank versus Draco, you got Berry versus Byron, and then you got 8-bit versus Griff. Well, still, I think Griff is just better than the 8-bit, but we'll see how it goes. So, there, I see the bit of a different strategy here. We see Frank actually splitting up from the Berry. I guess they know, really, like, Frank's not going to get any value if he's grouping up with Berry here. This is a difficult one. Again, I can't see how Crazy can really turn this around with the draft. Also, he's gone with plugged in. He may as well just use his boosted booster, especially because you get extra healing if you're inside of that damage bit. This is looking better for Crazy Raccoon now. We've got the hypercharge. Great super from Milcreyu. Frank's going to go down, though. And yeah, it's just looking pretty bleak, isn't it, for Crazy Raccoon? Rejector. A little bit of life going into him here. So Moya's going to go up and probably super in his second. He's going to get a good connection, but Melty still has a super. Uses gadget as well. He's actually going to get the kill. That is such a good gadget. He managed to get 3 shots off pretty much in that gadget time. And yeah, this is looking pretty much over. We've got a hypercharge though to work with. They've just got to rush the zone as quickly as possible. Moya, he has to kind of go for the super there. A good hypercharge super from Milcreyu, but The Malaise is just burning through this composition. There's just too much super cycling from Byron here. The healings are just not working whatsoever, and here comes Reject to take over this set. So I'm glad we've got a game on our hand here. Really good composition from Reject. The Malaise working beautifully, and this is why I say I love Malaise, because they can just counter comps like this. So that's going to be set 3 going to Reject. Let's jump into set 4. Okay, so now jumping into set number 4, we've got Bounty Layer Cake. So straight away, I think this map, of course, is not in the rank rotation, but from what I've seen in the recent qualifiers, I've seen quite a bit of Hank, and Hank is a great late pick, especially into Shade normally, but Shade is banned out. So you see here the best picks obviously are considered Berry, Lou. They like a lot of Berry in APAC. I mean, Berry is very good, especially with some cheesy synergies. I didn't expect him to be like bannable everywhere. I guess the thing about some teams are just hate facing off against cheese. That's why I'd probably recommend banning Kit probably a lot more if I was the pros, because again, like the lower skill teams can just win with Kit. But I'm very surprised that Reject banned it against Crazy Raccoon. Anyways, Stu in Lake. I mean, Stu is pretty good, but Stu into Juju, I don't really know about that. I mean, Stu, once he gets supers, can cause a lot of pressure to Juju, but Juju just has too much defensive capabilities for that. But maybe Stu is in anticipation for maybe like a Max or something. Again, I'm not familiar with the Layer Cake meta whatsoever, because of course I mainly just focus on rank maps and whatever else. I don't really care about Layer Cake personally, because I'm not a pro, right? Anyways, we go with a Gus. So Gus is just pretty good into everything. Surprised that Gus wasn't picked earlier, but again, Juju was left open. My thinking is that they should have probably just banned Juju instead of Lou. Like, I guess Lou is good, but surely Lou's easier to counter than Juju, right? No? Am I dumb for saying that? Surely I'm not dumb for saying that. That can't be an unpopular opinion. Also, Melody banned again. Like, she's such a good late pick. And then, well, actually, she's got to be, yeah, she's got to be such a good late pick if they're buying her. Crazy Raccoon. We go with the RT. So RT is just, again, good into everything. You've always kind of, with Layer Cake, I think, well, you got to consider, like, tanks are really good, throws are really good, and then you always just have, like, a sniper in the middle. So they go to Janet again. Yeah, Janet is really good on this map. I've seen it a few times in qualifiers. Janet is, the play rate with her has just gone through the roof. Really, really good right now. She's always been good in, like, Hideout on ranked, pretty underrated. And on this map in particular, you know, she can juke it out with the best of snipers and whatever else, because it's actually just such a, like, a mid-range map. So that's why, of course, Janet really excels. She's got the gadget as well. That's really good on this map to stop the enemies from regenning, and she can get a lot of pressure. So Kenji into this. Kenji's secretly actually not the worst into RT, but into, I know you're gonna have to play a really good Kenji. It's not the worst matchup. Like, they haven't got a lot of quick burst damage on the side of Crazy Raccoon. The draft has just gone. I was about to say Reject. Who do they got? They've got, I can't remember off the top of my head now. They've got Gus. They've got Kenji. Did they have a throw? I can't remember what the third brawler was. Anyways, I like Crazy Raccoon's composition though. Janet definitely really underrated, especially with the hypercharge. I can see it confirming a lot of kills, but we're about to get into the match pretty soon. Also, they've changed a lot of the graphics this year. I don't know how to really feel about it. I mean, they're kind of gone for something different, right? So why not? Okay, who's the third brawler? Stu. Okay, Stu isn't that bad, but I guess Stu's going to get outranged a lot here. I'm going to side with Crazy Raccoon's composition. I still am, mainly because they've got the Juju, and Juju pretty much wins every single time. So it's going to be probably a kill from Shu here. He's going to use a super to kill McCray. Can he get out? Yes, nice. There we go. And that's going to be another kill. Maybe I don't know anything about draft. Obviously, Reject. Got a better composition. Of course they have. Yeah. Anyhow, enough waffling. We're going to be able to get Juju's pet down. I just see as the game goes on. Yeah, okay, good switch here. Janet onto the Kenji's a lot better, because you're probably going to get super pretty soon. Just early engagements you can't, but yeah, there we go. We've got Janet super. Locked and loaded. Got to be careful of this Kenji. McCray's just going to push in with a gadget. Yeah, really well played it. Also, literally, that's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, Juju's kind of squishy, but then she pops gadget, and I think the shield reduction's like 40 or 50. I can't remember. It's something stupid. Like, it's a better defensive gadget than Crow's defensive booster. Like, it gives you more damage reduction, which is just crazy. So if I was to nerf Juju, by the way, I'd nerf that. I'd nerf the invisibility. I would nerf the supercharge rate or the pet's health. There's got to be quite a few nerfs. And because it's going to get really weak here. They don't need to overcommit just yet though, so I really like the play from Crazy Raccoon. Just keep it simple, keep on chip down, try and like get a kill, get out. You don't need to go all guns blazing here, and that's what they do. They get a kill onto Kenji here. Now they can start to retreat a little bit. 20 seconds left. They would have loved their kill on that Gus right there, just can't find it, and now it's going to be pretty bad for CR if they can get some good pressure. That pet is really annoying though for Shu. Stu's going to get really low. Melty's going to get low as well, and there's nothing that they can do exactly. Okay, CR, they're going to go for match point. Well, yeah, they've got 2 match points here. It's looking really good for them. Really good early game from Reject, but like I said, with Crazy Raccoon's composition, I think once the game goes on and those Kenji gadgets get burnt out, I think they just got a better composition. It's just hard for Kenji to really do anything because you can group up really easily on Layer Cake. It is a map where you just group up because of the ways that the map's designed. I also don't really like Layer Cake myself personally. It's a bit of an OG throwback, but I don't really like it because the draft is quite messy. I mean, it's not the worst map in the world, but definitely prefer something else. So I don't really see this map staying in the meta for too long. Right, that's the kill onto Stu. Again, I just don't understand the Stu personally. Bounty is just not Stu's. It's just not Stu's meta. Like the thing with Stu, yeah, you probably pick Stu if you're looking to counter like Max, like more of a counter pick brawler. I guess they can open up the map as well, and they are winning. But I see as the game goes on, you know, Janet can outrange Stu, hypercharge, Juju with the pets. Yeah, there's not much that Stu will be able to do. So surprised Tensai didn't really get many more shots onto Stu there. Here comes the split from Moya, does get found out, and again the early game is struggling for CR, but as the hypercharge burns through for Tensai, as they start trying to get some pressure back, great kill from Micreo there, and there we go. They just need the blue, they just need 1 kill. They just need 1 kill, and they literally just get 1 kill themselves in the back in the game like this. This is a bounty cheese as well. This is why Wipeout is such a good theory, because it's literally a team deathmatch, but it also creates a stalemate whilst Bounty doesn't. So there's like pros and cons on both. I still always prefer Bounty, but I can see why people get annoyed by it. And then there goes a kill from Tensai. We've still got a blue star, and I guess Tensai just knew that he could just go in and die anyways. So again, it's a similar situation from last round. Also, you really need to get something going. I'm not too sure how close Kenji is to super, but he probably needs it ASAP. Gus really needs to get the shield. Oh, he needed to put that onto one of his teammates there. Don't really agree with the self shield. Like, surely give that to the Stu or the Kenji so they can go in and make a play. And now there's 10 seconds left with just all of them weak and just not enough utility. Shu's going to go in here, but it's just CR have all the ammo in the world. We've got it all saved up, and then Shu's going to go in. He's going to die, and that's going to be the game going to Crazy Raccoon. Oh, this is what I'm talking about with this guy. This guy is just bonkers. Milcreu, if you've watched him in previous monthly finals, the stuff that he does, it's just hilarious. Like, how can you not love Milcreu? Like, he's hilarious, absolutely hilarious. So that's going to be 3-1 to Crazy Raccoon. Of course, Tensai, he's still to go. You can't doubt a world champion like him, a 2-time world champion. Oh, I was hoping for maybe a set 5, but that was okay. Maybe not as like entertaining as I was hoping, but again, I probably prefer more EMEA and NA myself. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Congratulations to Crazy Raccoon as always. I'm hoping to see more of Zeta next monthly final, but yeah, that was definitely a good taste of Brawl Esports, and I can't wait for EMEA tomorrow. So that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.